This is National Native News. I'm Antonia Gonzalez. Native women's advocates are hopeful a new Arizona law will help address violence against Native women in the state. Arizona's governor recently signed legislation ordering a study of the state's high rate of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Arizona Public Radio's Ryan Heinches reports it's one of a handful of current efforts in the U.S. to shed light on the problem.
The bill introduced by Arizona State Representative Jennifer Germain creates a task force to investigate missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. The study will be completed next year and will offer legislative and other potential fixes in Arizona. It comes in response to a significant lack of data on the issue. Experts say there's no reliable way to know how many women and girls go missing each year on tribal lands because many cases aren't included in national databases. Amber Canis-Bacrati is a Navajo Nation Council delegate and advocated for the Arizona law.
The legacy of violence in our home communities and amongst Navajo women and children in particular are at astronomical rates. Their suffering has been a silent epidemic, not only in our communities, but across Indian country in general.
Arizona has the nation's third highest rate of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls behind New Mexico and Washington. New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham signed a similar bill into law last month. In addition, New Mexico Congresswoman Deb Haaland is sponsoring a bill in the U.S. House to implement new policies for responding to cases of missing Indigenous women. Native American women face a murder rate 10 times higher than the national average. For National Native News, I'm Ryan Heinches in Flagstaff.
Oklahoma communities, including some tribes, are assessing damage after storms this week. The weather shut down some tribal operations, including at the Osage Nation, due to flooding. The tribal government is expected to open Wednesday. Residents are being advised not to drive through running water over roadways. The Cherokee Nation is reminding its citizens living in the tribe's 14-county jurisdiction to contact the tribe's Emergency Operations Center about storm damage or flooding. The Midwest and parts of the plains continue to be under storm warnings. High winds, tornadoes, and flooding are of concern. Meanwhile, the Navajo Nation has received federal assistance for damage from winter weather, which led to flooding and heavy mud across Navajo land. President Trump on Tuesday granted a disaster declaration to the tribe. Many communities across the Navajo reservation were impacted by weather in February, including communities in Arizona where parts of the state saw record snowfall. The tribe is working with federal officials on recovery efforts. American Indian Week is being celebrated in Oregon. Tribal leaders joined Governor Kate Brown at the Capitol in Salem recently as she signed a proclamation for the week. The signing ceremony took place during the spring celebration at the legislature. 9 tribes in the state are recognizing their government-to-government relationship with the theme Moving Forward Together, being good stewards of people, lands, and culture. Some of the tribal issues being addressed in the state include repatriation efforts and Native American studies. A legislative commission was created more than 40 years ago to work on Indian affairs. The Alabama-Coushatta Tribe in Texas is remembering the life of traditional Chief Colabe III. The tribe announced this week the chief's death at age 91. He was a tribal leader for most of his adult life, serving on the tribal council and as a chairman for many years. He was also a teacher and coach at area high schools and an elder in the Presbyterian Church. According to the tribe, a period of mourning will be held through the end of 2019. I'm Antonia Gonzalez.
National Native News is produced by Koahnic Broadcast Corporation with funding by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Support by Ramona Farms, offering wholesome and delicious foods from our heirloom crops as our contribution to a better diet for the benefit of all people. We are honored to share our centuries-old farming and culinary traditions online at ramonafarms.com. From northern Minnesota, Red Lake Nation Foods is pleased to support this show and share the bounty of the harvests, wild rice products, and wild fruit jams, jellies, and syrups produced by American Indians and available at redlakenationfoods.com.
Native Voice One, the Native American Radio Network.